Welcome to Esther's Breeze. Thank you so much. I want to tell you all how incredible all your support and love has been. A super big shout out to Jenny DeHeim from PAX Management, to Fernando Renzo, my partner in crime, and to the man, the mentor, the one who twisted my arm, Robert D'Alessio. Let's bring him up to say hello. Hey.
Hey, hello everyone. Hi Esther. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Hey Esther, first and foremost, I want to offer my biggest apologies both to yourself and to the audience, because last week what happened is that I didn't want to let you down, but I was like really under the weather. I was fighting off an infection. I had a very high fever and it looked as if like I was really out of it. But if I looked out of it, that's why. So I apologize to you and all of the audience.
Well, it absolutely did not show, and you are a complete trooper, and I so appreciate it. And I'm glad you're feeling better.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And folks, we have a great show for you tonight. Reminder to go on to Esther's YouTube channel, Esther's Breeze, and go and subscribe. So tonight I'm going to be acting as the techie, and Esther's got a great show. So guys, enjoy the show. Esther?
Yep. In the last year, a lot of us have found ourselves looking and seeking online content and going onto streaming platforms. And I myself, going through Instagram, came across this young man whose skits were not only timely and political, but completely hysterical. Take a look.
Bonjour Ho!
What?
Bonjour Ho! It is the new way that the Bloc Québécois want us to greet people during the holiday. Make it more festive and protection the French language.
By saying Bonjour Ho.
Yes! Instead of Bonjour Hi, we say Bonjour Ho.
Again, they want people to greet customers by saying Bonjour Ho.
Yes! Exactamente.
Ho.
Yes!
And you don't see anything wrong with that?
No, it is Christmas. So like Santa who say ho ho ho, we just remove the two other ho and it is Bonjour Ho.
You know what a prostitute is?
I do. Yes, what about it?
What's another word for prostitute?
A slut.
Okay, yes, but the other word. Think about it.
Whore.
Yes, and the short version of that?
Oh.
There it is.
Cool, yes.
Wait, so they want people to greet customer as prostitute. What a strange place.
Okay, d'abord, what if they change it to Bonjour Pute? Then it is all in French. Okay, no. I just heard it in my head. Bad Heidi. Si boy. Maybe they should just focus on helping the homeless and the small business during the pandemicals. Simonac. If you like the video and you think one of your friends or somebody you hate would like the video, please share it or tag them in the commentaries. Merci.
That's hilarious. Let's bring them up. Nir Guzinski. Hey, thank you so much. Oh my God.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Are you kidding? So, I don't even remember exactly how I came across your videos. I think somebody reposted it and I had to go and find, well, who is this guy? And then I went and I looked at your Instagram page and you had all these videos and they were absolutely hilarious. And you play all three characters.
Yeah, surprising. Some people think it's three of my like two roommates or friends. I had people go, "Oh, or like your brothers or your friends are really cool." I'm like, it's all me. It's the same guy, just a hat, no hat, and glasses.
So what was the evolution of this little web series that you came up with, and how did you come up with the characters themselves?
Oh, about 6 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago, yeah, or more. I started on Vine. So Vine started, and I was just like, as an actor in Montreal, fighting to get into the room for auditions and to get booked and to even just get into a casting audition. And so you want it to keep you want to keep sharp and you want to keep creative. So I was like, what can I do to keep my creativity going, to try to get myself more visibility, to be seen for what I can do instead of a one-liner every 6 month audition. So Vine came out and I started looking and I saw a lot of people creating these short 6-second sketches. And so I was like, okay, I can kind of do that. But I had no idea how to edit. I had no idea how to do anything, but Vine allowed you to just record directly on the app and kind of do quick edits and just post 6 seconds. So I started it that way, and it became my thought of a way for me to show what I can do, but also entertain at the same time. And I'm somebody that loves to make people laugh. So it was a kind of a no-brainer there to make it comedy. But it was definitely like a way to just get my mind just to stay active and to continue to act. And so that led to me doing a bunch of these short 6-second sketches. And one of them was a French-Canadian therapist talking to myself for 6 seconds. And it's just because I grew up in the French schools. I went to French elementary school, French high school, and I had a lot of French Canadian friends. And I lived in Montreal, so I was all around surrounded by the language issues. And so I picked up a lot of those little funny moments of how the accent can sometimes lead to confusion in both English and French for each native speaker. So I kind of incorporated that, and I put that out there, and that kind of got a little bit of traction. And then it kind of grew to being more of a sketch comedy concept series where I wanted to also bring a lot of actors that I know in the industry to showcase their talent. So I would bring a lot of people in. And then as the pandemic came into play, I couldn't invite anybody. So I had to use my own characters to interact with each other. And basically I used the pandemic as a way to incorporate my Russian character Oleg with my French Canadian therapist character and myself into a roommate situation where we're just stuck in the pandemic world. And and that's kind of how it all evolved into eventually TikTok, which started also around maybe a couple months before the pandemic, but it kind of grew from the pandemic.
So how did you come up with the 3 characters themselves?
The French Canadian therapist was based on like just my surroundings with the French Canadian, the accent. And I thought of being a therapist just because I thought it would, as a character, I thought it would be interesting if the character as a therapist who needs to give advice was giving really bad advice, but on top of that, add a layer of confusion with the language accents and the misunderstanding of words. So that's kind of the French Canadian therapist. It was literally a therapist that was a bad therapist, but on top of that, add the layer of confusion with the language. Oleg, initially, because I'm part Russian, I wanted to use that as an example of kind of a little bit of an immigrant concept angle, somebody who comes into this country, different accent, different personality, different view of the world. And he initially started as a character that was rating TV shows. So he had this like opinion on what a certain TV show was. So he would give 5 Kremlins out of 3 Kremlins out of 5 for this show. And it was literally him just doing that. And then eventually it morphed into one of the roommates. And the other character is myself, mixed with a little bit of like that. I just add the contrast of Nir is the annoyed character. He's annoyed by everything around him. He's more of like, just come on, guys, let's just be normal. And the French Canadian therapist is the very high energy, and Oleg's a little bit of the creepy kind of like, so they're all part of my personality, but all slightly different.
So one thing that was interesting that a lot of people have commented to me is the timeliness of your videos, so that if an issue came out that afternoon, if the government made an announcement, you were putting out a video that evening. Like how were you able to do that so quickly?
I have no idea. I literally do not know. I work 9 to 5, so to me, it's.
Oh wow! On top of that,
I hear the stories. Sometimes nowadays, people even send me the news stories by like messages. They're like, "Oh, did you hear this?" For example, today's announcement of the gyms opening up is something that I'm thinking about Is there some angle I can do there that I can make a sketch on? I don't know yet, but it is percolating. But it's definitely the moment I finish work, and I do have to admit that the benefit of working from home because of the pandemic has allowed me to, right after I finish work, I go and sit down, I write a script, I film, and then if I can edit before a certain hour, I'll do it. Otherwise, it goes the next day. But that's usually how I try to be as timely as possible when there's a big news, something big or something interesting or funny, like Bonjour Ho.
Yeah, exactly. And in addition to that, you also, like you said earlier, have the French Canadian character play with words. So I'm just going to show this one clip that's hilarious, where we see an example of that. So here we go.
Okay, I call meeting today because I have very important request.
No, you cannot sleep too near naked. Ben là, you tell me it is confused, not confused, but now it is naked, not nacked? So complicated, see?
Yeah, I can see why you're confused. No, not about that. What I want to ask is, can you teach me swear word?
Ah, c'est un sacrifice de petite imbite en merde! Ah, je suis full content! I am full content!
Yeah, it was only a matter of time you got the swear word. Okay, great. So, if someone get me angry, what could I say?
Okay, very simple. Almost all Quebec French words are relation to the church, okay? So, for example, there is calice, ciboire, tabarnak, simoniac, esti, calvaire, Christ, maudit, sacrament, vierge, cibole.
So much anger toward the religion.
And then you can put them all together like puzzle. So, for example, Christ de calice de tabarnak de esti de sacrament, or esti de calice de tabarnak de maudit de Christ. Hein? Kind of like building IKEA product. You take one piece, then another, put it all together, and you get an esti de Christ de table that take you 3 days, 14 hours, and still look like shit.
What was the word? Eski? What about English? Is it also a swear word about the religion?
Not really. English is more about body parts or things that come out of body parts and sexual innuendo. So like piss, ass, dick, prick, dickwad, asswipe, card.
Oh, like lesson in anatomy. And can you also mix and match?
Yeah, I guess. You can say piece of shit, ass, piss ass. Nothing as elaborate as the French insults though.
Okay. This definitely give me a lot to think about. Also, I am wearing your underwear because they are more comfortable than mine. And I also have one. And it is quite dirty.
Because it's this tabarnak de fucking Christ, this sacrament de shit the fuck!
You can also mix both English and French swear word? That is next level.
If you like the video and you think one of your friends or somebody you hate would like the video, please share it or tag them in the commentaries. Merci.
So tell me, has there been any backlash at all with your videos?
There was, I think, whenever you get to a point where a video goes a little more, I don't like to use the word viral, but it gets a little more views, like it spreads a little more around the world, the province or the city or the world, let's say, there's going to be people that are going to nitpick. And I do have some angles in the videos that could lead to people thinking that it's mocking a certain culture or mocking the language issue. But to me, it's like I look at each character as a personality, and their accent is just part of that, like their essence. It's not necessarily picking at the accent. It's the French Canadian therapist is just an aloof character. His personality is somebody that's kind of naive, kind of funny, kind of like high energy. Oleg's more like sexually perverse and a little more like cold and kind of like I don't know, difficult to please. And then Nir is just like a balance of like annoyed. But I did have one video that kind of went a little more viral, if you want to say. It was about the press 9 for English,
right?
On calling the government. My whole concept on that was simply that I once called the government. I also called I think it was Bell at one point, and I get the message and it says, pour le français, pour continuer en français, faites le 1. For English or pour l'anglais, appuyez sur le 9. So I was like, I'll press 9. I don't feel like speaking French today, so let me press 9. And I would press 9. But I also thought, why 9? Why not 2? Like, why are you jumping from 1 to 9? So I thought that was funny. So I put that in the sketch. And then when I actually pressed 9 and went to English, the person, when the person came on the phone, it was literally, oui, bonjour, comment puis-je t'aider? And I was like, but I pressed 9. What was the point of all this? Like, I would have spoken in French if I knew that the only thing I would get was French. So it just, to me, that was the situation was funny. But what it led to was comments that were a little like, a lot of people loved it, thought it was funny, thought it was relatable. But then there were a group of people that were like, oh, if you don't speak French, man, sors d'ici, retourne chez vous, va à Toronto. And there was a lot of that backlash of like the English and the French debate. And that wasn't the intention of the video at all, but it turned into that. So it's interesting. And again, anything on social media gets weird. Like I posted a video about the fax, like getting the government telling me to send a fax. And I thought that was funny because it was 2021. And in the comments, it was, again, a lot of people related to it, but then there were people that are like, well, it's more secure, you should know better. And I'm like, it's a comedy sketch. I'm not stating any facts here. I'm just putting out a situation. So some people take it way too personally, but it is what it is.
So do you think because it's a little controversial that it actually brought in attention to your videos? Do you think that the followers that you have now on TikTok, and by the way, guys, he has 61,000 followers and over 1 million views. Yeah, you do. I checked. I know. Amazing. Like who does that in a short period of time as well? So you think that contributed to it?
I think anytime a video on any social media platform is edgy in a sense that it could lead to a debate or can lead to an emotional response that is extreme is going to do well. So that video, which led to people debating one another on the language issues, what it does is it causes engagement on the video, so it keeps spreading. And then when it's relatable and people have gone through the same kind of situation and they felt they thought it was funny or they thought they were annoyed by it, then they would share it more. So I don't necessarily think that it was the fact that it was like controversial. I think it was more because it led to some edginess in terms of a debate of like, it's relatable, I've lived through it, but I also have an opinion on it, and it's weird to me. So I think those are the videos that go the most viral. I've seen videos that, like there's creators that push on the buttons of like today's really edgy stuff like cancel culture, transphobia, like all of these things that are very big topics and important topics. They'll go on an extreme side to get reaction. And that's how you go viral in today's world of content.
Yeah, and TikTok in particular is very organic as opposed to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. So you're also an actor. You're a theatrical, film, TV actor and voiceover actor. So the fact that you have all these followers, and this is something that we talk a lot about in the acting community, do you think that it helps you or it hinders you?
It's a really tough question to answer because I think in some sense it helps because it gets like the more people see me, the more visibility I get, the more my face and my name become people are aware of it. And so sometimes people will go, oh, I have a role for a comedy, or I think this guy looks like this Nir guy that I saw on TikTok or on Facebook or on whatever. And that might help get me visibility in the acting side of things to maybe get an audition or a particular role or opportunity. But on the flip side, I do think that there's also a stigma on social media acting, which I think the industry is maybe still not there yet in accepting it as a form of legitimate acting. I think it's viewed as social media acting. And because there's so many people on social media and it's not necessarily actors that are doing these sketches, there is that kind of sense of stigma, I think, like there was back with theater and film, and then film and TV, and now TV being the big thing. Now all the main like big movie actors are now in TV on streaming services. So I think it's just a progression, and eventually I think social media acting is gonna just be another form of acting that is going to be accepted also legitimately.
So tell me, how did you get started in acting?
Oh, that's
the big question. Where did it all begin?
that just make me feel so old. I'm gonna go with 12, but I maybe earlier. But when I was young, when I was a kid, I used to always make voices and imitate politicians or characters or celebrities in front of my parents and my family, and I was just entertaining them and making sketches. And my brother was also one that he liked to be like the voice host, and he would always want to bring me in to do his like shows. And so we would do some of these kind of sketches in front of our family. And my dad and my mom eventually, I think when I was 12, were like, man, your energy and your characters and your like performing we should put you in some agency to try to maybe go into acting. So I signed with an agent when I was 12. I did some auditions, but nothing really panned out. Then I got to high school, became self-conscious, was an awkward kid, and then kind of left. And the agency also like folded. So I was basically just like back to just being a kid and didn't think of acting as much until I watched, this is going to be funny, but until I watched 10 Things I Hate About You.
Right.
And I saw Julia Stiles, and I fell in love with Julia Stiles, but also the world. I was like, man, it would be so much fun to be in that kind of environment and perform and be with a bunch of other actors and just be on set. And so I researched Julia Stiles. I was like, how did she start? How did she get into it? Said theater, that she started in theater. She requested to be in a play, and it was just really cool to see her story. And from there, I was like, okay, I'll go back into it. And I think I was around 19. And at that point, I was like, oh, let's go get an agent, and then I'll start. But then I would go to the agencies, and they would be like, you have no experience, so you have to get experience before we can sign you. But I was like, but at 13, I had no experience, and you just signed me. So I found out that as a kid, you're naturally talented, whereas an adult, there's so much layers of like overthinking and analysis that you lost your playfulness and your innate ability to act. You're super self-conscious. So you need to practice and hone your craft. And so I went into acting classes, did some short films, independent short films, and then just built that way until I started doing a lot of theater as well with Brave New Productions for 5 years. Donald Reese is the founder of Brave New Productions, such a talented guy. And so, yeah, so I did that, and then I signed with an agent, and then just built from there. Took classes for like almost 10 years with Susanna Lanier, did some workshops in Meisner with Jacqueline McClintock. I'm just name dropping. I went to New York for a workshop for a weekend. Hire me, people. I'm an actor. I can do stuff. I have training. But I also, I sometimes think about what it would have been like maybe to do a theater program, which I didn't do. So I went the route of like work and business and like traditional educational path. And then I did the workshop courses and the readings and the practical experience kind of thing with the acting stuff. So I do believe it's a great tool if you study in theater, in the theater programs. I think it really puts you in that zone for 3-4 years. But there's other ways to hone your craft as well.
So you've done over 11 films, about 5 different web series, and a multitude of theater work.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And in addition, you have about 3 films coming out. Tell me about them.
3 films coming out, do I?
Yes. There's 3 that are not yet.
I know there was a movie that I did 2 years ago that hasn't come out yet. And I think it's called Office Games. I have a small role in that. I play an employee, like a aloof employee who gets smacked in the head with a shake weight. Then I don't know what's the second one. I know that there's a movie I just finished shooting, which was a small part again, but it was, I don't want to name drop, but it's called Misanthrope. I think that's what it's called. That I don't know when that's coming out, but I think they're still shooting. So that's going to happen at some point. And I don't know what the third one is. I looked
at your IMDb, and there were 2 others that were in addition to the Misanthrope. Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay, I'll have to IMDb myself now. I don't remember.
So I'm going to show your demo reel. Is that okay?
Yeah. That's
Go hide.
Hello? Someone here? Cemetery's closed. You gotta come back in the... Hey! Cemetery's closed. Are you okay?
Yeah. I just, I was just here visiting my sister. She died about a month ago, and, sorry.
Is there anyone else here with you? Yeah, we got a possible disturbance here.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Mirinda?
Oh my God, Jacob!
Hi.
God, you still smell the same as you did in high school.
You mean like aftershave and sexual frustration?
Well, I hope not the sexual frustration part. Listen, you should call me. We should go get a coffee or something sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
It feels like high school all over again.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I sit there every day sifting through resumes and resumes to fill jobs that I don't know anything about. I just hired somebody to be a front-end programmer. A front-end programmer, Sam! I have a degree in political science. I don't know the first thing about web development, but I hired him. His name is Jerry, and he's starting on Monday.
It just happened so fast. My mom told me to go visit him. Should have gone to visit him. I never got a chance to say goodbye.
Infinite Light.
Wow. That's the one, right?
That's the one. I also don't know when that one's coming out. So yeah.
You see? I was right.
That was...
Yeah. You're so versatile. You really, I'm very impressed.
Thank you. So just for all the casting agents, I can do drama.
They're all watching. We invited all of them.
Bring them on. I know that doing over 6 years of comedy sketches, I think you end up getting sometimes typecast, and I think I've been perceived as just being a comedic actor, but I can do drama. I can.
Oh, there's Robin Williams.
I want to.
Yeah. So you also have this Instagram page that I came across called Monday Motivators. What's that all about?
So similar to the concept of bringing, doing sketches where I can bring other actors in and show their talents. Because again, a lot of times when you're starting out, or even just in Montreal in general, we don't get opportunities that much to do important scenes or roles with a lot of text or a lot of levels or personality or all that stuff. So I would bring them in to create their characters and show their abilities and talent. So it's similar vein. What I did is I wanted to get inspired and motivated by other artists, and to also show other artists that we're all going through similar things, and that we're all sometimes in need of motivation and inspiration from others. So basically, I created this weekly series that I try to do almost every Monday. I think I only missed 1 or 2 Mondays, but in the last 2 years. And basically, it's interviewing, asking 6 questions, any actors or artists in Montreal, and sometimes outside of Montreal, but mainly it was in Montreal. So it ranges from actors to writers to painters to musicians to even physical trainers. Anything that has an art form. I asked them 6 questions about what motivates them, what inspires them, what keeps them going, what they love about their industry, and any advice that they can give to other artists or aspiring artists. So that's every Monday I try to do that. I try to keep it somewhat short in terms of content. It's not a podcast. It's literally just a video of them by themselves answering the questions.
I think that's great. And for
We're
future,
going to get you on as your journey as well. Let's get you on that. I'm going to send you the 6 questions. I'm not joking. Sending you the 6 questions.
so in terms of your own future aspirations, where do you see yourself?
In 5 years, in 10 years. I would love to continue to build on my acting and my creative side of content. I'd love to be able to entertain people, go and make a living out of it. I would love to help other artists, get visibility, grow, feel like they can showcase their talents, and hopefully down the road as well, if I can give back to the community in some shape or form, if it's the artistic community or children in some sort of charitable way. I would love to use whatever platform I would hopefully have, to spread laughter, joy, and also some support for children and artists.
And in terms of yourself for the future, do you want to be in more films? Do you want to concentrate on your content?
Everything. I would love to be in TV shows and movies and Netflix and Amazon Prime shows and Apple TV shows. What you name it. I would love to also create shorts and features and web series. But I also love to entertain. So whichever medium allows me to keep people entertained, regardless of comedy or not, I think acting and performing and telling a story entertains people. It makes you think. It makes you feel. So I love the comedy side, because especially nowadays we need to laugh with everything going on. But down the road, if I can continue to make people laugh, great. If it makes me be able to continue to perform on a regular basis, then yeah, I'll continue to create content and help others create content, because I also do script writing for sketches. And I've written some shorts and some web series. But I would definitely love to be in a feature film, be in an animation, a voice for an animation, be in a video game. I'd love to just perform and be a part of that.
I noticed one of the web series that you were on was called This Is Gus.
Yeah.
And I think it was a clip, which, by the way, I love that part of the clip. Tell me about that web series.
So funny enough, we talked about the comedy and the drama and all that, but This Is Gus was a couple of years back. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3, maybe 3 years ago, or 4 now. I don't even know. But it was not that far ago. I was doing a lot of the sketches, and I went to an audition, and in the audition, it was an independent short film, I think. And I did the audition, and it was a drama role. It was a dramatic scene. I did the scene. The director was like, "Thank you. Here's some notes." I did the notes, and then the person basically said I was really great. Thank you. And a week later, I got feedback telling me that I didn't get the part because they just felt like every time they watched me, they felt like I was being funny. Yeah, so they were like, "It sounds like we keep hearing a hint of comedy," and I remember thinking, is this because you've witnessed my sketch comedy so often that everything I do is just funny to you now? And so what I decided to do is to create a web series that would allow me to show the dramatic side and to do a dramatic character. And so I wrote This Is Gus, which is a kind of spoof on This Is Us. That was the big show at the time, which I loved that show. I love Mandy Moore. You're so talented. All of them are really talented.
Yeah, they're great.
And so I thought I would make a show that's kind of loosely based on This Is Us, which is a family show where it's a guy that a long lost brother that shows up, who's played by Sean Curley, who's an amazing actor. Honestly, that guy needs to be more seen and given opportunities. But basically, I wrote the character Gus to be a weird, funny, quirky character, initially thinking that I would play that character because it's comedy. And that's my brand, if you want to call it. But because of that audition and the thought of I needed to show that I can do drama, I flipped the characters and I gave Sean Gus, and I played the more down-to-earth kind of serious character. I forgot the character's name now, but that was Mark, maybe? I don't know. With Jen Viens, who's also a super talented actress. And so that was how it came about. It was nine episodes, wrote it and edited it myself. It was a lot of work. It was directed by Jean Bernard, also really talented writer, director, actor. And yeah, so I just don't recommend writing and editing and posting it at the same time. That was a very, very tiring couple of months, but it was an amazing experience, and that's the web series. So if you want to go see it, it's on my YouTube page.
I think a lot of actors and performers are finding now that they have to do their own content instead of sitting around and waiting for a part to come along, or else they'll go insane. So I was curious about how you're able to put the 3 characters in one room, talking, I guess, from an editing perspective. And for those people who want to do their own content, like, how did you do that? How did you learn to do that? Do you think it's important for actors these days to, learn how to edit and put together a film and produce it and write it?
I think it's vital for any artist to learn about all facets of the industry and of the craft. So I don't think everybody needs to be like experts in writing, editing, filming, and directing and acting all together. But if you can understand and have a basic knowledge of all of them, I think it really does help shape the performance, the storytelling, and the acting. For me, I had no clue how to edit. I had no clue how to shoot. I had no equipment. And like I said, 6 years ago, or 6.5, whatever, with Vine, it was all on the cell phones. And nowadays, cell phones have such high quality cameras that they look amazing. And so I sat down and in coffee shops, and I opened my MacBook, and it has iMovie, which is free. It's within your MacBook or your Mac products. And nowadays, there's apps that allow you, like CapCut and all these different apps, and you can literally just learn to edit, and you can start small. You could do a 10-second clip and then talking to yourself and add pictures. And that's how I learned. I just learned over years and years of practice, just like you do in acting and you're taking workshops. It's just doing it on your own and learning through YouTube videos. And so when it came to doing the multiple characters, I don't have a green screen. And so what I did is I literally, if I'm giving you the tricks here, it's literally putting the tripod. So you get a tripod or somewhere stable, you put your camera, it could be your cell phone camera or whatever camera. I put it stationary. I don't move it. I press record. I let it record for the entire scene between all characters. They sit on the couch so that they're both in frame. So I just make sure that they're both in frame, and I make sure that they don't cross. So I give them a bit of space. And then what I did when they're interacting with one another, which is that is time consuming, and it's a little it is difficult. It's a little extra layer of difficulty. I would pre-record one character's lines, giving space in between for the other character to reply. I would pre-record that, and then while I was shooting, I would play that section. So I would hear the other character, and I would respond in the time that I had given myself. And then in editing, you basically put that whole clip together, and then you mask. So you would mask the 2 clips. So you have the clip with one character sitting here, and then you have the clip of the other. I'm very technical here, and this is not going to make sense to a lot of people. But basically, you put the clips over each other, and you mask out one side of the frame, and then you see both characters. And then it's timing by speeding up the pauses if I pause too much or if I didn't speak fast enough. So yeah, there's a lot of technicality there that you can learn through YouTube videos. But again, it's not rocket science, and it's not too difficult to learn. The learning curve is it's steep at first, but once you grasp a little bit of it, honestly, I do encourage everybody to learn a bit of editing and learn a bit of filming, and script writing it's not easy too. I can't say that I'm a script writer. I think I write sketches. I've over the past 5 years developed an understanding of how to write a sketch that is, in my opinion, funny. I think comedy is subjective. So, and then I kind of have in my head a formula of how I always want to make sure that at the end there's an extra joke to leave the audience and with one last surprise. And that comes from my friend and TV mother, Dawn Ford, the amazing Dawn Ford, who appeared in some early sketches with which she's like an improv queen, and she gave me that kind of like the button, and then there's got to be an extra little surprise at the end. So, yeah.
Talking about improv, how important do you think it is to be trained in improv for an actor?
I think it's so important. I think it makes you really understand the art of listening and being on your feet and being aware of what's going on. Because a lot of times when I started acting, I remember I would memorize lines and I would memorize saying the lines. It would literally be, okay, I'm going to go now, thank you. And I would then repeat the exact same way when I was so nervous, and I would just respond the exact same way, the exact same lines, exact same timing all the time. But when you do improv, you kind of have to understand and listen and then play with the other character. And it really does it builds a muscle that I think is super vital for actors. It's super fun. I did some improv at MSOPA. I thought it was hilariously fun. You do a lot of these games that are really good training. So yeah, I would definitely, I did some I think it was like on Sundays workshop at the Théâtre Sainte-Catherine. It was like Improv Montreal, I think it was called. So I definitely encourage any actor to do improv as well. Any training, I think, gets you to be versatile and to pick up a skill. It may not be your strength, it may not be your favorite thing, but it's an extra muscle and an extra tool in your toolkit.
Absolutely. So when you have to go the traditional route and have to audition and memorize a script, what's your process?
A lot of nerves and shaking and panic. No, I'm going to be honest and vulnerable here. I don't get that many auditions. So when I do get auditions, I do get nervous. And definitely my process is to understand the character, understand the story as best I can. But when you're getting sometimes one-liners or two-liners or a sentence, it's not like you can't overthink it either. You can't create a whole storyline for the character and a history. But you can definitely think of a moment before. All the different techniques that I think a lot of us have learned through workshops and schooling. But yeah, I read the script. I read what we get. I kind of envision what the character is like, and then I try to memorize the lines just by reading them a bunch of times. And then I'll do one of the things to try to reduce my nerves in the audition room and to then freeze. What I would do a lot now is kind of like raise my heart rate. So I would either run around the room. So if anybody sees from across my building, if my curtains are open, you can see me running and just reciting a line like over and over again, just like blah, 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 or doing jumping jacks. Or then I'll do like the dishes and do an activity to just kind of get those lines in without thinking. And then, and then I just, pray to whatever's up there to not make me choke at the audition. But no, all kidding aside, it's definitely different now to do auditions because of self-taping and Zoom auditions. But in-person auditions, I think, are super important to get used to. And it's hard when you don't get a lot of auditions to practice. You can do it in your house, you can do it with friends, you can do it in workshops, but it's not the same. It's not the real same feeling, because when you're going into an audition to book a role, there's a different level of mindset that you're going into. And the ideal is to forget about it and just play, right? And you're just like, I'm just performing here for you guys. But you always have, I think when you don't do it enough, you kind of get in your head about like, oh, I got to do well so that I get back in the room, that they don't dismiss me, or I got to do well so I appear good for a bigger role. So there's a lot of that. What about your voiceover work? I know that you do that as well.
I'd like to do more of that. Yes, I did. I recently started. I think voice was maybe 2 years ago. Was when I did the actual video game voiceover workshop. Had some amazing teachers there. Mark Camacho, Simon Peacock. They were really amazing. Amber Goldfarb was teaching a portion of it as well, and Carlo Mistroni. They were all amazing teachers, and I really learned a lot. And I built some like my demo for animation and voiceover and commercial, and and
I need to do more. Like, it's a different world than on camera acting. So I need to do more training, of course, to continue to build on that. And I recently got lucky enough to do a small part of voiceover for the government of Quebec. So if you hear a question about vaccines, I did one of those voices. And yeah, I'd love to do animation. I grew up with making random animal voices and cartoon character voices. So I would totally love to do voices. Let's do voices. But yeah, that's my voiceover world, and hopefully it keeps growing.
I could definitely see you doing that. Absolutely.
Right? I am so excited.
Exactly. So if you had a choice to have your dream role, what would it be?
Woo. My dream, it's funny because I asked that question to all the Monday Motivation
Really? I had no idea.
And I've never asked myself that question. I've never answered that question. My dream role, I would say, one side of it, I would love to be a lead in a Pixar movie, like a lead animation, a character, even if it's not a lead, just a character like that has a decent sized role in a Pixar movie. That would be one of my favorites, like Disney, Pixar. The other one I would love to be, for some reason, one of my favorite comedy movies is Wedding Crashers. I would love to do a movie with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Vince Vaughn is one of my favorite comedic actors, so I would definitely, that would be a dream role, to be in a movie with Vince Vaughn. And also on the other side of it, I'd love to do a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. So those are no specific character. I wouldn't be Superman or Spider-Man, but it would be more as a role on a feature film or a big series on Amazon with DiCaprio, if he ever joins the streaming side.
I wish that upon you. I'm going to play one more of your skits.
Dear God.
Okay. So hold on, and here we go.
What happened? Everything okay? Yes, I need to remove shit from the bed. I do not have time to clean shit right now. Excuse me? What is so complicated? I have dirty shit on my bed. I need new shit.
Why are you shitting on the bed? Shit go in toilet.
Quoi ça? Why would it go in the toilet, esti? Oleg, that is not how we clean shit here, okay? Plus, the shit is way too big to fit in the toilet.
But that's where it's supposed to go, not on your bed.
What in the name of Anna Kournikova did you have for dinner?
Hey, look, Chris, what does that have anything to do with cleaning the shit from my bed, tabarnak? I had poke saumon. It was perfect.
Oh, is that game application where you chase cartoon creature in random park or person backyard with other people chasing same creature?
Mais de quoi il parle, esti? So, does anybody want to help me take the shit off my bed? Pee?
Yeah, no shit for me. Not my fetish.
Shit, pee. No, I'm good. I'm good right here. Thanks. I think you can handle all of that yourself. What the fuck? Sacrifice, esti! God in, esti!
So, did you clean the shit from your bed?
Yes, I did, Chris. I just ate it, okay? It is definitely not my favorite thing to do, tabarnak. Why do they make putting shit on the bed so complicated, Chris?
Did he say ate it?
Oh, dear God.
Well, we are a little paused here, so I can't really see what's going on.
Oh, I see myself.
Okay.
I don't see your.
Yeah, I think we overloaded the studio, but that's okay.
I'll just talk to myself here. Hi, how's it going? I'm really good. How are you? But watching myself is kind of funny. It's definitely I'm like, oh man, I've made some ridiculous sketch videos.
I think they're amazing. You have no idea how many people love these sketches. And you've really brought a lot of joy and laughter to so many people during this very difficult time. And and I'm one of them because I'm a huge fan, and I appreciate it all. And I want to thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for
My
that
pleasure.
last statement, because it's definitely been a roller coaster ride for me, being isolated alone in an apartment with two
Aw.
people in mind. But I do have to thank every single person who watches my videos and engages and tells me this, because I think being behind just like, it's not like theater where you're getting the automatic engagement. So when people actually engage with the content and watch my videos and then tell me that they love it, or it makes them feel better, that's like, there's no better feeling, and it definitely makes me happy to continue to do this. It's been a roller coaster ride. I had moments where I definitely wanted to stop doing, because I was not getting any visibility or traction or engagement. I was like, what's the point? I'm just doing it to put it in the world that nobody watches and nobody's seeing it. And so I've had my share of time to quit, but honestly, since the last year, I will not. I appreciate the support.
So many fans.
Thank you all. You gotta look at the camera. Thank you all. Honestly, means a lot.
So I want you to stick around for the after party, and I just want to announce, yeah, fun. Yeah, just stay like that. Next week, I'm going to be having Marcy Warhaft, who wrote the book, The Good Stripper. Here.
Oh, that's very good. I like that.
Yeah, Oleg would like that.
He would, yes.
It's a story of a housewife who was a soccer mom by day and a stripper by night. And she has a lot to talk about. So
Our strip club open?
You're going to have to watch. Bring Oleg.
Our strip club open? I know gym are open.
The gyms are, but not the strip clubs.
Not yet. Okay, I think they're exercise in the strip club. There is exercise there. They can open it.
Absolutely.
Distance, you'll know.
Thank you so much.
No
Good
problem.
night, everyone.
Good night. Bye-bye. I am still live.